coming from the inner city, coming from Bridgeport, like my main focus was like, all right, you in a position now where you can get out of Bridgeport, or you can party with your friends in high school, or you can go get this scholarship and go to school for free, and your mom be good, and nobody got to worry about you. So it was a tough decision. I lost girlfriends over this decision. Like, you're going to be gone all summer? Like, how are we going to date? You know what I'm saying? But those things you got to sacrifice in order to reach that level. And the people around you got to understand that too. So for me, mentally, it was just like, okay, if you want to be a Division I player, you got to sacrifice this stuff for now. It don't say you got to sacrifice it forever, but for this specific moment in time, this is what you got to sacrifice. And I understood that just because I wanted that. That's what I wanted for myself. I wanted to be Division I. I wanted to be one of the top players in the state and in the nation. I wanted to be those things. So those things come with sacrifice.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast, your source for living a healthier lifestyle and developing a better mind, body, and soul. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful fitness gurus, athletes, and individuals who are passionate about enhancing all aspects of life, we provide you with the tools to help you take your lifestyle to another level. And now your host, Quinn Mitchell.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. This is your host, Quinn Mitchell. Today I have a very special guest. Timajh Parker is not only a professional basketball player, but he's also from Connecticut. He's also a member of the Puerto Rico national team. How are you doing today, my boy?
I'm good, baby. I'm good. Another day, living good, blessed.
I'm glad to have you on the show. For people that's not familiar with you, would you mind giving a brief introduction about yourself?
Timajh Parker-Rivera. I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut, originally. I went to St. Joseph High School, Catholic High School in Trumbull, Connecticut, and then earned a D1 scholarship at Towson University. I had a lot of schools' interest, but I decided Towson in the end. Since then, I played in countries like Germany, Portugal, Mexico. Obviously, I'm on the Puerto Rican national team now. And I played in Puerto Rico this season. So it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey, but I'm blessed. It's a blessing to be doing the thing I love, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Like I said before I even start recording, I commend you just being from Connecticut and just going that route. Because like I said, not a lot of people make it out. And they try, but it's not like that they're not talented enough, like you said. It's just the lack of exposure on the market.
Right.
So just jumping into it, when did you first start hooping?
Oh, I first started hooping. I first put a basketball in my hand. My grandfather put a basketball in my hand at like age 7. I started off in PAL leagues, the little police basketball league they had for youth. And I wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't good. I was big. I was big, but I wasn't good. And it wasn't until, I started going to 5-star basketball camps and things kind of out of state that I really got a lot better with my game and understood that not only Connecticut is hooping, like the country, everybody in the country, in the world, like it's hoopers everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So once I got that exposure, like that's where I kind of like started to pick up basketball a little bit more.
Gotcha. So how was that recruitment process for you? Because I know being from CTI, I heard about you, but we never got to play against each other because I think you were 2 years older than me because I graduated in high school in 14. So I think you were in 2012, right? Yep. So we were always in different brackets, I should say. But just being in CT, would you just mind just sharing how like the process is like through AAU and just how that whole recruitment process went for you?
Oh, most definitely. So I started out McGivney Center. I was playing for the McGivney Center in Bridgeport and in the Fairfield County League as a young, like about to go into high school. And a coach from New Jersey came down and moved to Connecticut. His name is Billy Lovett. And Billy Lovett went to St. Anthony's, a powerhouse within the nation of basketball, under a great coaching system. So when he came to Connecticut, he brought a different energy to our youth team and our AAU team. So he's the head coach of my Connecticut elite team. So he had so many connections just from being from St. Anthony's, playing at Fordham University. So he had those New York and New Jersey ties that kids in Connecticut weren't necessarily getting at that time. They were just as talented as the kids in New York and New Jersey, but they weren't getting somebody that just knew the recruitment system, knew the coaches, and get the coaches to come to games just out of respect. So that's kind of how I separated myself from Connecticut basketball, because we started playing in all the tournaments in New York and New Jersey, and he was able to get coaches that were just his friends, just off of respect for him were like, yeah, you know, I'll pull up at the game, and then they saw the talent that we had. You know what I'm saying? They saw the talent that I had. And I was competing against, you know, the top guys from New York, New Jersey, and the tri-state area. And that's where I kind of started the bubble. And then when I came back to Connecticut, I'm dominating now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in a different mindset. I'm in a mindset of I got to play at all times at the level that I know that other guys in other states that are going to Division I level are playing. You know, I got to play at that level all the time, no matter who I'm playing against. You know, because Connecticut talent varies. You know, you have different towns, it varies. Yep. You know, in the major cities, you got powerhouses like Hill House. You got, then you might be playing like a Wilton or a Darien. So the talent levels vary based on town, because kids go to their town school, unless you're in a Catholic school, or in your case, a technical school. You know what I'm saying? And even that's different leagues. You know what I'm saying? Different levels, different classes. Yep. So for me, the biggest thing was definitely him coming down the coast, because that took my recruitment to another level.
So, and the crazy thing that you say that is, I even think about it myself, because being in the technical school, we played all the technical schools, but then we have like a capital prep on our calendar, or we have like somebody like Prince Tech. So just like, but don't get me wrong, like the people we were playing, they were good competition. But when you go to like these, let's say in Hartford, where all they do is hoop, I got dudes on my team that never even played a lick of basketball in their life, and they shouldn't need pants going up with these dudes that hoop all day, all night, like dogs. Right. So it's like I had to bring my game. It's like, because I'm from Meriden, so I see the people that come out there, and these people where I went to school at in Middletown, these live in the East Hampton. I mean, I'm not saying nothing wrong with that, but it's just like you said, it's different levels of basketball, to where you go outside of Connecticut, these are a whole different animal you're dealing with.
And they playing basketball all year.
Okay.
Like, you know, you might get people on your team, they play lacrosse, football, you know, they got a job, they work with their dad. Like, no, they hoop all year. Like they already on the college regimen. Like, it's kids in high school already on college regimens, because that's where they want to be. You know what I'm saying? And once I adapted that, I had to let go of some things too. Like, I was a camp counselor, and I had to let go of all that, and I had to play all year. Or else how you going to catch up? You know what I'm saying? Or how you going to expect to be on the level that they on if you're not doing what they're doing?
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
So how was that for you mentally? How was that for you mentally, though? Because I know I mean, at some point during your high school career, I'm sure you had to make a sacrifice, whether it was not spending as much time with your friends, not going out as much, and really put basketball first. So how was that for you mentally, because I know a lot of kids or even college athletes, they really not built like that, because they may want it, but they don't want to give up the social life aspect, or not going to as many parties aspect. So how was it for you? Like, was that challenging for you at all?
Oh, it was very challenging. I mean, you know, coming from the inner city, coming from Bridgeport, like, my main focus was like, all right, you in a position now where you can get out of Bridgeport, or you can party with your friends in high school, or you can go get this scholarship and go to school for free, and your mom be good, and nobody got to worry about you. So it was a tough decision. I lost girlfriends over this decision. Like, you're going to be gone all summer? Like, how are we going to date? You know what I'm saying? But those things you got to sacrifice in order to reach that level. And the people around you got to understand that too. So for me, mentally, it was just like, okay, if you want to be a Division I player, you got to sacrifice this stuff for now. It don't say you got to sacrifice it forever, but for this specific moment in time, this is what you got to sacrifice. And I understood that just because I wanted that. That's what I wanted for myself. I wanted to be Division I. I wanted to be one of the top players in the state and in the nation. I wanted to be those things. So those things come with sacrifice. And I knew that in my mind the whole time. So that's what really got me through those hard times. So you want to go party and hang out too. Like, who doesn't want to do that as a teenager? But, you know, when you think about other things, and like, just like succeeding and success come with sacrifice. So that's what I always had in my mind.
So what would you say was the biggest like challenge or obstacle for you just being a student athlete in general?
In general, throughout high school, or are we talking college? Like, where we talking? Or just in general? So
I mean, you could touch on every aspect if you want to, but just because I know for me, like you said, like me, it was giving up the girls in high school to focus on, because I went to Vinyl Tech. If I wasn't a standout player, or I had to go to AU market and really kill. There was no just going to college for me because nobody's coming to my games. You know what I mean? I had to go in AU and do the work. So for me, I had to give up summers of talking to girls or just having friendships and going out and actually training and outside my house and just for hours at a time. So for me, that was my biggest sacrifice. How about was it for yourself?
Yeah, I would just have to say that the social aspect of my life was at that time especially coming out of high school. It gets better in college because like once you get to college, everything is in stone for you. Like if you don't make it here, somebody coming to replace you. Like we can always find another person. You know what I'm saying? So like you got that type of pressure, and it become like a business for you more than just a sport now because your education depends on it. Your food, what you eat, and your books, your scholarship, everything depends on you performing on the court. You know what I'm saying? So when you leveraging that, you really don't got a choice but to be like, all right, well, I got to lock in on this ball. I got it because this could cost me everything. So one mistake with this could cost me everything.
So I'm glad you brought that up because that's the next question I wanted to ask you was a lot of people don't realize the constant pressure that we have as even in college, as student athletes, just going through everyday life. Like it wasn't to me. It's something that not a lot of people talk about, or not a lot of people even acknowledge. Because if you're really not built for it, you'll break down and go back to your old ways.
It is the toughest mental challenge I think anybody can face, and like. When you're in college, you played in college, so regular students look at us like, "Oh, you got it so good, and y'all can do what y'all want, and the teachers don't care." But they don't see the times where it's 4 a.m. I got to wake up at 6 a.m. I lifted before I came to breakfast. I couldn't even eat breakfast because my class is at 8 a.m. You know what I'm saying? They don't see that, and I'm not getting off till 6, and I got to go to regular practice for 3 hours. Then I got to go to night class after that. You know what I'm saying? Like so, unless you're talking to a regular student that's in that same type of grind where they working and they paying their bill, and they don't understand that like it's not easy, man. You got constant pressure on you. Then if you're not performing on the court, that's a whole nother set of pressure because now the coaches, everybody looking at you different. They like when you're gonna perform, they might say something to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's constant pressure every day. Every day is a new challenge, and like to conquer that. And some people fold. Some people can't take that. It's a lot. Especially at certain levels, like it's a lot. But sometimes you just got to sit back and take it for what it is, and really understand that it's a blessing to even be in that situation.
Man, now, if you don't mind, I just want to jump a little deeper into that because jumping into your college career, right? So I'm not sure how it was for you, but I just share my story quickly. Like my first 2 years, I went to JUCO. I really sat the bench kind of. So my junior, it wasn't really till my junior year, I sat the first 7 games, right? So every day I'm waking up 5 a.m. shooting with my roommate. It wasn't until the crazy thing is a kid body slammed my starter, body slammed the bench warmer in practice, like body slammed him during practice. So he gets suspended for like 3 games. So mind you, 2 games before that, I'm getting ready to go home. I'm like, yo, I'm sitting the bench, like I'm straight. So my roommate like, nah, just keep going. So he's shooting every day, continue to shoot. So I started the next game, I had 15, and then the game after that, but it was against a sucky team, so I didn't really pay it no mind. So then the game after that, I had 35. So then that's when it was like, okay, I'm here now. Like, and then it just took off from there. So for me, it was like the mental battle with playing wise. It's like I want you to touch on just a different aspect of like the politics in basketball because a lot of people don't really understand with you. For me, I jumped from program to program. So if you got players that go up to their coach and just suck ass all day and they get to where they want to be, right? But for me, I really took it the hard way and wrote it all out. So would you just mind sharing your thoughts on that?
Well, it's politics at every level. I think the best way I can describe politics within the game would be to discuss how overseas basketball is and in some situations I've been in or seen. So with overseas basketball, there's a 1% that make it to the league, and then there's like a 1% of people that play pro in general. You know what I'm saying? So once you don't make the league, everybody pretty much in the same pot for whatever country you're going to go play in. Now, as Americans, we the best basketball powerhouse in the world right now, per USA, the USA team. You know what I'm saying? We have the most talent on one team. Now, we as Americans go play in Germany or France and wherever you're going to go play, and they have their own set of players that are just as talented, that they have loyalty to, that, you know what I'm saying? So you're coming over as an American, and they're looking at you like, we're just as good as you. One, this is our home. Two, and you better be Michael Jordan in the clutch. Like, you better come to play, or we don't need you. You know what I'm saying? So you're going over there knowing that, okay, this is the pressure put on me. Like, I got to perform every night or I'm getting sent home. And one of my teammates could not like me and I'm getting sent home. The captain of the team could get in an argument with me in practice and I'm getting sent home. You know what I'm saying? So the politics of the game are at such a high scale. You know what I'm saying? You constantly got pressure on you. It never stops. Like, it never stops. From the college level on, it don't stop. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing for you is just to have confidence in your game and know you and know that, okay, I'm just not going to give up. I'm going to fight everywhere I go. I'm going to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put my head down, put in the work. I'm going to be a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Because all that matters. You can't go somewhere and slam a table, flip the table over, and think you're going to just be staying there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to trust you to walk around their streets and be around the people from their country. You know what I'm saying? The safety of their people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's so much that just plays into it. And at the college level, it's crazy at the college level. It's borderline ridiculous. I mean, I ain't even gonna get into all that. I'm gonna get in trouble with it.
So did you experience anything like when you was at Towson, let's say? Was there anything that, I mean, you don't have to get into detailed specifics, but was there like a general like scenario that you could talk about that you came across? You was like, wow, like this is really bad. This is really politics and basketball at this point. Because when you're at Towson, everything's a business at that point. You're at the D1 level. So like you constantly got that pressure on you. But at the end of the day, was there anything that you seen like a subtle difference in? You was like, wow, like this is really like politics and basketball for you.
It wasn't so much. I didn't so much to see it at my school just because, like, I worked, man. Like, wasn't nobody going to outwork me. So, like, and once you show that, like, people respect, like, I gained respect so early that it really, but I would just say as far as, like, just the politics and the levels, like, like it's a difference between Towson and Kansas politically. Like, they move different. They media different. They on the TV all the time. You know what I'm saying? They get all the NBA exposure. Like, that's political in itself. They get all these young kids, all these five-star talent. They got this long storied history. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't a five-star, you can't go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's political in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't look like, oh, we need this player for this. But no, they're like, all right, how many five stars can we get at every position? You know what I'm saying?
So how is it for you? Like, because I know you talk about the work, right? So a lot of people don't really know, like, from the outside looking in, if you see a basketball player, you think they're naturally gifted. They may just work out here and there. But when you really like a dog and you a killer, like you waking up at 3 a.m. going in and working out, when you got practice at 6 or 7, you be working out 3 to 5 before everybody get there. Then you don't go into practice. Then you literally taking power naps throughout the day just to get you through your day. Just to end the night going back to the gym and then running up. Me, I was running like 3-4 hours of sleep. So the work ethic, I think a lot of people don't really talk about. Would you mind just sharing your side of things that a lot of people don't know?
And that's good. I'm glad you asked that because I actually had a conversation with my lady about that the other day. And I was like, you know, I said, I never called nobody in the NBA a bum because I understand what they sacrifice and how much work they had to put in to get there, regardless of what they're doing when they get there. You know what I'm saying? Like the extra. It's about the extra. And that's what separates you at every level. That's what separates me from guys that aren't overseas. That's what separates NBA players from guys that are overseas. They extra. They did more. They wanted it more. You know what I'm saying? They woke up. They went to work out. Then they lifted. Then they probably did some extra lift with that. Then they went to practice. Then they didn't leave practice until everybody left the gym. And then they stayed in there till midnight. And then they did it every day. and they didn't go to that bar, they didn't go to that party. And I said, yo, that take ultimate sacrifice. That's the ultimate, like that's the next level of, see me, I sacrificed, but I had a great social life in college. Like I was it. Like I enjoyed college. I had a great time. I worked too. When I was stressed, I go to the gym. Late night, I go to the gym. Whenever I felt, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I just felt like if I was in any mood or too much stress from school, I go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? But then there's guys that just live in there. That, like they live there. Like you can see that like this is all they want. Perfect example, Khalil Dukes. I've never met anybody like Khalil Dukes. I'll give you one story about just how deep dedication go and like how like certain people separated a different way. So Khalil Dukes, I'm on a team with him, on Andre Drummond, Chris Dunn, etc. And he's the young boy, and we're in Vegas. And so we're like, you know, let's go to the strip. Like, let's just walk. We can't do nothing. We underage. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't really do nothing, but let's just go walk because we in Vegas. And Khalil's like, nah, like, I got to study this film. Like, I'm chopping up this film. In high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, dedicated. Dedicated to this. Dedicated to being better. Dedicated to just basketball in general. So, like, it's just levels to that. You know what I'm saying? And I salute everybody that puts the work in. You know what I'm saying? If you can put that type, I salute you because I know how hard it is. And it's hard to just be like, yo, this is all I'm doing. Because I know, yeah, I do. I know. I have lapses. Not today. I'm gonna go. You know what I mean,
but at the same time, bro, you made it to that pro level, so for you, it's okay for you to have that balance because there's some people out here that they're in college right now, let's say, and they listen to this, and they don't have the discipline to even say no to a party. Like they at every function, at every party, but not focusing on their craft. Like to me, it's crazy that you bring up Khalil because he was my mentor when he was I think a year above me. When I played vinyl, because we would play him like once a year, and I would just message him, shoot him there. I'd be like, bro, should I go to this party? He'd be like, nah, go to the gym instead. So he basically told me to do everything else, what everybody else is doing, do the opposite. So for me, that really helped me. I gave him a lot of credit because that helped me go from vinyl tech, go to college, and play at a high level where people that go to vinyl go right into the workforce. Like there's no basketball for them, you know what I mean? So just with that little incident in itself, it's like there's people out here listening to this, and I'm glad that you brought it up. Like, yeah, it's okay to have balance, but at the same time, I don't know if people they're not built like us. Like they don't have that same drive where they can say no. Like they're too worried about what other people think rather than focusing on themselves and working on their craft.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's a popularity contest now, man. Everybody wants to have some type of fame, but they don't know, like, with that come a lot of work. Like, even if you look at, like, players like young LaMelo Ball, like, they show his life is televised, and he's always in the gym. He's always in the gym. He can have whatever he want, do whatever you want, DM whoever you want, but he's always in the gym, and there's a reason for that. You got to put in the work. And I think for the younger guys that are watching this and the guys that are in college and like strive to become pros at any level, like you got to put in the work. You got to be able to say no, because you got to think about what you're asking for. You asking a franchise either in another country or here in the States to believe that you're going to put basketball above all else. But you can't do that in college. You know, that's what they invested in. Like, you're an asset. This is what I'm invested in. I need you to come here and put basketball above anything else. And most likely, most times, your family as well. Your family, your wife. You got to travel. You got to lead. Like, I need you to put basketball first in your life. So if you can't show that you can do that at a college level, what make you think somebody's going to pay you to come and do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't sacrifice going to a party or being out with somebody, going to a day drink for putting in work, why would we spend money on you to come here and do the same thing and not give us the results we want? Because you didn't put in the work.
It's crazy that you say that because, like I said, people you say it and it's going to register with some people, but then after they listen to it, they're going to go back back to what they was doing before. Because, like I said, you gotta have a certain type of build to even be like what you're talking about.
Right. You gotta have a different mentality.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And one thing I want to ask you too, being at the pro level, how are you able to maintain? Because I know you talked about this a little bit. I know you said it's from putting in the work as well, but I know every night you go out there, you being American in a foreign country, they expect you to go out every night and do your job, no matter how you feeling, no matter how sore you are, no matter if you had a bad day. So how are you able to do that mentally every day and bring that every day?
It's hard, man. It's hard because you got to think about it. You're away from your family. You're away from everything. You're away from. You can't go home and get a hug and get a a home cooked meal. You can't get none of that. You might be actually hurt. You didn't get the treatment you needed. Your body's sore. You've been practicing all week, 2 days. Then you got a game you got to go play. You know what I'm saying? So it's just mental toughness, man. It's just like expecting more from yourself. So like, say I have a bad game overseas, which I've had bad games. Like it happens to everybody. Everybody has a bad game. And you start to feel all this pressure and ownership start to look at you funny. Coach is like, what's going on with you? At the end of the day, it's a competition. They don't care, man. You got to dig deep, have a conversation with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody here to pat you on the back. Have a conversation with yourself. Like, you got to dominate next game or you know where you're going. So that's what when it narrows down to that, you really don't have too much of a choice but to be like, all right, you know what? Let me lock in. And I've seen guys do it. I see it all the time. A guy have a bad game and like you could feel the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like this next game, I gotta come with it early. Like I gotta let them know, like, yeah, I'm coming with it today. Like I know what happened last game. It's not gonna happen again. It's just it's constantly a battle with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you telling yourself, you know, how much do you want it? How much do you want to be better? How much do you want to get to this better league? How much do you want to get this bonus? How much do you want this championship or this extra bonus you're going to get with this championship? So it comes down to that. And it's tough, man. It's like, it's the toughest thing ever. Like you see the gray hairs, you see the streak, man. Like a lot of stressful nights of just talking to yourself and you know, realizing that you live in your dream, but like you always got to be on point with your mental.
So how would you say how important that is? Because like you said, we could talk basketball all day and talk putting in the work all day, but nobody ever talks about the mental shit we go through. Like nobody ever talks about it. And like you said, there's a lot of nights when I was in college, like my senior year, I hurt my groin. So I had to literally watch film and think about how can I still score the same effective scoring wise without exploding. So it's like me, I had to literally break down. If I take a jab stop here, as soon as I see his hips move, I'm rising up for a shot. Or if I jab him here, or if I see pump fake and he don't bite, I'm just going straight up with it. So I literally had to break my game down with each step by step to be able to maintain that high level performance. So for me, mentally, I was tapped out at one point, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was tapped out because it was like I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I literally had to break my game all the way back down to square one and rethink everything. Like the littlest things at that point matter. So basically, how is it for you? Where like, because like I said, the mental side when it comes to the game, a lot of people don't speak about it, and a lot of people, like you said, if they're not built for it, it will eat you alive all day and all night.
And it's everything. It's everything because basketball is an IQ-based game. Like the smartest players dominate the league because they know what they could do. They know what spots they get into. Like you ever heard LeBron break down the game? Like it's all mental. You know, it's all mental. Like it's physical, but it's all mental. And yeah, it's tough for us, man. And it's something that needs to be talked about more. And even like just now, my experience with the Puerto Rican national team, like we had a sports psychologist on team that we can talk to and. You know, we practice breathing and, you know, we did, because that's very important to the collective. When you have all these personalities and lifestyles and all this going on within a team, it's hard for the players to mentally always be there. You know what I'm saying? Like they vary. Something went on at home. I got child support. I got this bill. My mom's in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Everybody still has a life. We all still individuals. So, like, I feel you when they say, like, it's not spoke about enough, like, our mental health throughout all these situations, man. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody should be required to have a sports psychologist for your team in general, somebody that the players can go talk to, because it gets that hard and it gets that mentally tough on you. So when you constantly in your head thinking things about your game, about your family, about what you're going to eat that night if you're not don't have enough money and you at school, about you know what I'm saying, about a grade, about a bad game, like all this stuff, and you just speaking to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's tough for a lot of people to overcome. So
that leads into my next question for you. How are you able to separate everything that was going on even in college or in your professional career? How, when you step into that floor, nothing matters. Like, how do you get into that zone?
Oh man. For me, I usually, I have conversations like before games. Usually, I like to text my family. I text my girl. I make sure everybody's okay, and then I just, I listen to some music and get in preparation for my game. But once I'm on the court, it's just more of like, okay, how can I help my team win? These are the guys I've been with. Like it becomes more of a smaller situation for me because now I'm thinking all basketball. I'm focusing only on basketball. I'm focusing on the game plan that the coach gave me that we've been going over all week for this specific team. So it just gets smaller and I don't think about much of anything else besides what's going on that court and, the guys that I'm around and how can I help my team be successful. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's me dominating the game or for the Puerto Rican national team playing a role. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is I have to do, I hone in on that. And that helps me mentally just be prepared and focused for the game. And then after, life resumes.
Definitely, my man.
Right back to it.
Now I know with you on the Puerto Rican national team, and I know with you playing overseas and be even in high school and college, you always been that man and dominant your whole career, right? So I know for me, I don't know if I was you, if it would be much of an ego factor, but I know for you because I know you mentioned you had to play a role in the team. So how were you able to just not say you put your ego aside, but just accept that role factor? Because a lot of guys I know, they can't put their ego aside to help the better cause and to help a team win. Yeah. It's all about them, and if it's not, then all hell break loose. So how were you able to do that mentally, or even just as a whole, and just accept that role and just help your team win?
Well, in basketball, there's a respect. There's a respect for the levels. So if you're playing with guys that have played in the NBA, like a Shabazz or a JJ. And you're getting coached by Carlos Arroyo and all these guys that have been at levels that you aspired to be at, that you dreamt of. It comes with a level of respect, that knowing that they touched that level. And okay, so you become, like for me, it was more of like becoming a sponge and, taking the knowledge from them while still playing my role in the team. Because at the end of the day, it's not about Timajh. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than that. Like, when I go play for Puerto Rico, I'm representing the whole country. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? I could go out here and shoot 30 shots and look crazy and yell and scream. But what did I learn for JJ? How is that going to affect Shabazz's game? How is that going to affect the coaching staff? And you know what I'm saying? So you kind of have respect for the game and listen clearly to what the coach wants you to do. And you go out and you do that, you know what I'm saying? And be within the system. And whatever role you got to play, sometimes you got to do that. But now I've gained so much knowledge from them. So now that when I go play in a regular league or against regular talent or against guys that we're here,
you killing.
It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Because I've gained this knowledge and this IQ from these great players that I respect. You know what I'm saying? Now, I take a step back and I'm back in myself and I can now go perform at a high level.
Gotcha. Now, I just have a couple more questions for you. I appreciate everything that you're giving, all the advice that you're giving. So I want to ask you specifically, I know just having the killer mentality, not every player has it. I know you could look at players when you're playing against them and be like, he ain't got it. But then you could look at somebody else and be like, he a dog, right? So
right.
Do you think that's something that a player can develop over time? Because I know for me, it wasn't until my junior year when I really snapped into that mindset where because of the amount of work that I put in, I'm like, ain't nobody fucking with me right now. Like, I'm just on a totally different plateau. Like, can't nobody mess with me. But it wasn't until then that I really snapped and everything just started riding out for me. But what do you think, if players listening to this, do you think they can adapt that mindset? Do you think that can be developed, or do you think that's something that people are born with?
Preparation breeds confidence. If you constantly working and you working to the point where that's all you know, when you are matched up with somebody and you look at them and you know you can tell if you've been working harder than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the moves you doing natural moves because this is what I practice. You don't even care about the defender being, you know what I'm saying? So it's all in the preparation. So I believe it can be. Now, some people are different. You know, some people come from their upbringing and the surroundings they played against when they was young, and, you know, they get that dog in that heart early. But I do think that it can be built over time through preparation and work. You know what I'm saying? Because work always beat talent. When talent don't work hard. I know you heard that one before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you working, once you get on the court and you translate it to the court, of course you're gonna have that confidence because you know you put in the work. And that breeds that dog because now you confident. You like, oh, that's good. Oh, I can feel it now. That's good. And now I hit 2 or 3. Now, oh, you can't stop me now. You know what I'm saying? But that's because
let me ask you this though, because you got those players that they may work their whole life but never get the opportunity to show it. So then that really messes with their head because they're not getting the opportunity. So what would you advise them that's not getting the quote unquote opportunity to show it, but they're putting in all this work, but they can't express that on the floor because the coach just doesn't see it in them? Like, what would you suggest to that type of player?
Keep working and find different opportunities. Like, maybe that's not the situation for you then. If he can't see that you putting in all this work, and well, maybe it's time to change the eyes. Let's change the eyes. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to a different school. Let's go on YouTube and do workout videos. Let's fly out to LA and risk it and get in some of them tapes and run some pickup. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many ways now, like, especially with social media, like, you could market yourself. Let's record me working every day. Let's do a day 1, day 2, day 3 series where I'm just working. I'm showing my game. But sometimes it takes it. Like, sometimes the coach just don't got confidence. That's why people transfer. This is not the situation for me. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but this is not I need something different because I feel like my game is this. That's okay. It's okay to feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're putting in the work. So that's what I would say for those guys.
Like I said, I appreciate you coming on the show, chopping it up with me, bro. And then the last question I have for you. So I know with everything that's going on, like, when you were in college, how were you able to balance out everything? Like, because I know some people, they can't balance out going to class, going to practice, going to lift and all that within their day. So how were you able to do it successfully and still able to maintain a social life like you had?
Well, they made it easy for us. The Division I level and the academic staff and people we had, the coach didn't, you know, the coach is always on us constantly. They did class checks and they made it easy for us. They did our schedules for us. We had our schedule ready. So they made it easy. But for me, it was more of like, I wanted my education. I valued my education along with the basketball. So it wasn't as hard for me to adapt to that schedule because I was like, you need to do both. You need your education and you wanted to play basketball. Like, this is your dream. So this not even work to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be hard. It was hard. You know what I'm saying? It was hard lifting twice and going to class. And I'm tired, you know, physically. Like, I'm beat up. Like, I couldn't stay up if I tried. You know what I'm saying? But I would say, yeah, man, just go hard into it. Like, dive into it wholeheartedly, school and basketball, because they coincide. And the ultimate goal is to graduate or to go pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the end goal. So until you reach that goal, what else we doing? And social life is cool too. Have a good time. Enjoy your experience. But know that it's somebody that's working while you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody somewhere in one of those gyms and one of those colleges working. Every time you at the day's drink and you want party and you got other stuff to do, it's somebody that's dedicated and allocated that time to basketball. So you just got to know that too. And don't be hard on yourself when they get the opportunity to get drafted and you fall short. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be mad at yourself. Taking this try. Like, I enjoyed my time. Like, I had to do that. I had to sit back and be like, you didn't get drafted. It's fine. Cool. I'm saying you're going to go play overseas ball. You're blessed. And, you lived a good social life and you broke it down as best you could. So I would just say that. Just break it down as best you could for you. And, strive for greatness. Try to be great, man.
And like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming on the show. Just like I said, being from Connecticut, it's something that this is just an inspiration for other people that's listening to. Because Bridgeport, that's right down the road, for like 45 minutes from me and Meriden. And just seeing like how you become and grown over the years. Like I said, I never reached out to you before, but I've always seen you on my radar because you were 2 classes ahead of me. Right. You, Mike Mallory, those guys, like seeing that, and now you guys are pros is just an inspiration to somebody like me. I never became a pro, but just seeing how y'all move different in different situations is like, okay, being from Meriden, I gotta make it at least to the college level and play at a high level and have a career. So I commend you for that and with everything you've been doing, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you for having me on too.
For sure. Before I let you go, would you mind telling listeners what a typical day like is for you, even let's say during the season? And is there any special routines that you go through?
So a typical day overseas is probably like you'll wake up, breakfast. You'll probably have a lift. If it's regular season, you'll probably have some type of lift, or if it's preseason, you'll have some type of lift. Practice. If you're in Europe, you're going to practice 2 times a day for sure. There's no way around that. You practice twice. South America, Central America, you might get away with one and a half, one in the shooting at night or something like that. But other than that, you're an adult at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like in my free time, I can go eat. I can go to the movies. I can, you know what I'm saying? So long as it's in the schedule. But yeah, that's usually our schedule. Probably like 2 a days, either a lift and a practice or 2 practices. At this level, it's get in shape and then it's X and O's, but we play for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like we play. We all at this point is, you should know basic offenses. You should know defense. You should know. So they expect you to know all those things. And yeah, no, that's a basic day for us. And leading up to the games, either 2-3 games a week, something like that.
So it keeps y'all busy then. If you don't mind telling the listeners as well, all the countries that you've been to, because I meant to start it out with the show saying that, but I totally slipped my mind.
Portugal, Germany, I've been to India, Mexico, obviously Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's it on my list right now. I think I'm in my fifth season overseas now. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey, and I got love for all those places. Shout out to all those coaching staffs that gave me the opportunity, and all them players that I played with over the years. A lot of talented guys, man.
No, definitely, my man. And then the last question I have for you is something I ask all my guests: is what is something that you're most grateful for?
I'm grateful to be alive, man. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the blessings that I continue to get as I, embark on this journey, man. So every day I get to breathe and wake up and have another day here and figure life out, that's a blessing for me. That's enough for me. So that's definitely.
And for people that's listening, if they have any questions for you, would you mind giving them like your Instagram or how they can get in contact with you?
For sure. I mean, my Instagram is at Timajh Parker-Rivera. That's TIMAJH Rivera. You know what I'm saying? That's my Instagram. Facebook is the same. What else I got? Instagram, Facebook. I don't do, I'm getting old, man. I think I got a TikTok too. My TikTok is Majh the Foodie. If y'all like food, man, I like to talk about food a lot, so I do that up there. But yeah, link in with me on Instagram. All young, if it's young, talented, any kids in the area that need advice or need somewhere to work or want to, get in the gym and do some things, like I'm around for all that, and I'm up for it. So especially if I'm in town. So definitely give me a hit.
Nah, and I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, just being from CT, it's a true inspiration. And I love to even connect with you myself. It's in the meantime, whenever you in town, we get in the gym or something, and work something out.
Oh, most definitely, man. Link me in. You know what I'm saying? You got my contact information now, so definitely tap in with me, and we could definitely anytime, man. I'm a personable guy, man. I'm loving life right now. I'm blessed, and
no. Yes, sir.
keeping it pushing one day at a time.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or to leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at QuinnMitchellII.com, as well as find us on Instagram for more useful content and resources.